Hey everyone, my name is Gabe,
And my name's Hannah.
and we hope you're ready to ramble with us. Hannah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Very productive morning.
Really? How
Yeah.
so?
Went to the doctors, took my grandparents to run errands.
Mm,
Just taking
you're
care of
you're
myself,
such a
eating
good
well.
citizen
I
of the
know.
earth. Very productive, very
what have
helpful.
what have you been up to?
No, just a lot of working. Like I'm
Yeah.
really like just working every day. Doing like my day job type thing. A lot of like business stuff. But yeah, dude, I'm just busy every day. Um, I've been I've been drinking a lot these past few weeks.
No.
Well, not like drinking a lot, but what I'll do is like I'll have one night of like debauchery a week, and
Okay.
like it's kind of been messing me up because one of my things that I think I talked about this. I'm trying to like lose weight, and like what's been happening is like I'll like drink with my friends. We'll drink a bunch, and when we're drunk, we like get a pizza at like
Midnight.
midnight when I've already eaten for the day. And then like so like literally from that one night alone, I'll gain like 5 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, because
Wow.
I think something too is like something about alcohol also um makes you like gives you like fat retention. You like hold more you know what I mean?
Well,
Like
I mean, alcohol is like a type of sugar. There's that,
yeah,
but
it's in low calories too
mm,
in and of itself. But yeah, I'll literally gain like 5 pounds, and then I spend like the whole week then like burning that off,
mm,
and then rinse and repeat. Then I'll
yeah,
drink again, eat again. But yeah, so like I'm like trying to not
trying to
do
cool
that
it.
anymore. Yeah, like I said, it's not like I'm drinking all the time, but it's like one night a week. Me and my buddies are like, let's just get freaking blasted. And then we're blasted and we're like, dude, let's go to like 7-Eleven right now. Go get like a pizza and some chips and like this. And I've already like I said, I've already eaten for the day.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, so I'm done with that. But other than that, I've been doing a lot of like business stuff. A lot of stuff I'm really excited to talk about, like stuff
Mhm.
that I'll be able to talk about very soon on here too. A lot of projects I've had in the works. But yeah, so I've just been keeping busy with that.
Good, good.
But yeah, so that sort of segues a little bit into the main topic that we want to talk about today, and that was just sort of like goals. How do we set them? How do we follow through? How do we stay accountable? And that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, keeping motivation rather than
Yeah.
well, no, no,
No,
no.
no, no. Discipline
Discipline rather
than
than
motivation. Yeah,
motivation. Yeah.
motivation versus discipline. Sort of like what does that mean?
Uh-huh.
What's better? Spoiler: it's discipline. Having discipline's better. But we'll talk about
Yeah.
why.
Mhm.
But yeah, before I get it kicked, do you want to say anything or?
Well, we'll also touch upon some uh tangible actions to go about our goal making.
Mhm.
You can talk all we want, but we're going to give you something to really follow through with.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the first thing that I sort of wanted to talk about and what was help bring the concept for this episode was motivation versus discipline, right? So I think the way that I define it, and let me know if this is how you define it, is like motivation. It's something where you you see something or you have a very specific goal in mind and like an end result, and that gives you like a drive. So like for example, like give an example like, for me, like I want to lose weight. So like the motivation is okay, I want to be skinny. So that's I'm gonna keep working out. I'm gonna keep going to the gym. And the motivation is I want to be skinny. Right. And I think discipline is more so like you follow through on things because of just like sheer willpower, like your own drive, like regardless of how you feel, regardless
Mhm.
of regardless of how you feel and whether or not you want to do something, you're still gonna do it because you've trained yourself to like see things through.
Yeah.
So like the example for the gym is like, well, I go to the gym because I know like I need to, and even on days where like I don't want to. I'm feeling lazy. It's like, well, I just know that I need to do this anyways.
Yeah.
So I think that's like this. Would you agree with that
Right. I
definition?
would say discipline is something that is uh you do it regardless of your feelings.
So what are like some things for you that your own like motivations?
My motivations.
Yeah. Like things that like you'll think about that are like motivate you?
Motivate honestly, I get a lot of motivation from seeing how other people are doing on social media.
Really?
Yeah,
So
I love to see people doing well. And that
really?
yeah, and that but
Okay.
that doesn't I'm not like a jealous type of person. That motivates me to do better.
I thought you were about to say, man, I want to fucking be better.
What do you mean?
Like you see people doing good and you're like, man, screw that guy.
Oh,
I
no,
thought
no,
you were
no,
about to
no,
say
no.
that.
I'm
I was
more
like,
of like,
okay,
hey, they can do it, I can do it too.
that's good. That's
Um,
good. I'm definitely a hater.
You're a hater.
I'm a hater, so I'm definitely not like that. I see people doing well, and I'm like, okay. I'm just kidding. I'm not really like that, but
A little, yeah,
I'm a little
a
bit,
little
a
bit,
little
but
bit.
I just see other people living their best life,
Mhm.
and I think to myself like I can replicate that. I can make something of my own, you know.
Yeah.
Disciplined. That's low key like I'm lacking in that because for me,
Do you think you lack
I
discipline?
lack discipline.
Yeah, because I think discipline for everyone is essentially the same thing, but I think more so the question is where does your discipline come from? Because you sort of have to
Discipline.
like I feel like you sort of need to learn discipline,
I agree. I
right?
agree. Discipline is something that you have to work at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I would say for me, my discipline came from my years of sports. Like
Okay.
I did baseball and football growing up as a kid. And I think like be through my coaches and like stuff like that, and just sort of like the mentality and the things you go through in sports, right? It teaches you like even when you don't want to do things, right? I think that's how I learned like
Hmm.
my discipline of how to do things. Because in sports and stuff, even if you don't feel like doing the practice, right? You don't feel like doing a certain drill, you don't feel like going to game, you feel like shit. The coach is like,
Yeah.
hey, it doesn't matter how you feel, you still got to do this,
Yeah.
right? And I think that basically taught me that. So you feel like you haven't learned that really.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No,
I feel like I was under presumption that you had
a lot of discipline.
pretty solid discipline, but you feel like you don't. I
I
would like to dive
yeah.
into that.
I mean, I've been kind of like really taking a break on my routine.
Really.
Yeah, I would say this past year I've been very spontaneous, kind of do what I want, and then that's led me into actions based on my feelings, and I've
Mm,
lost that discipline. Um, just maybe with working out, with health, basically all streams, even content creation. It's
yeah.
been very much like figuring out what's the purpose of it all,
Mhm.
even like what's the purpose of the discipline. And it's not something I'm proud of, like I want to be like going back to that way of life of really
No.
sticking to something.
Yeah, because yeah, I understand because the thing about like with motivation and stuff like that is motivation is very like a temporary boost,
Mhm.
right? Um, and the thing is like with most things in general that are worthwhile, like business endeavors and content creation stuff like that, like that shit takes time. Like
Yeah, results.
you won't reap the rewards for a while. So yeah, it is difficult to I'd say like stick through it because it's like you're spending weeks, months with like working on stuff, not really
Mhm.
seeing it. It's like why am I even doing
Doing it.
this?
Mhm.
So I feel like that's sort of how you feel. But yeah, I think discipline is important because it's like you need to learn like even if I'm not seeing the results now, that's why I need to keep working on it so I can see
Mhm.
it later.
Def.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pillar of success. Discipline, passion, I would say. We've
Mm.
talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And consistency.
Yeah,
So,
I get that. Yeah,
what
so
are the things that you do to make sure you're disciplined?
well,
You have accountability partners, right?
I like for example for the gym, I go with a buddy,
Mhm.
and not only do I go with him, but he actually relies on me to go because
Okay.
he's like under my buddy pass. So like even on days where I don't want to go, he's like, well, I want, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think we definitely help because I feel like if it weren't for him, I probably would have given up in the first few months of going to the gym. I probably would have stopped going, but Um, I feel like now at this point I'm good. Like even without him, I still would go because I've just been at the gym for so long. I'm pretty well like disciplined to it. I'm pretty
Uh-huh.
used to it, and like I actually like going. Like I desire to go, but I think discipline. I think definitely having him run the first run, like we both kept each other like accountable and going to the
Yeah.
gym. You know, um, yeah. What about you? Do you have
I
any other?
I would say I tell people like I'm going to do this today, or I write it down and maybe
See, I feel like that's not a good thing
practice.
to do,
And why is that? Why is that?
and I've actually heard this from other people, and I found it to be true when you tell people what you're gonna do, it makes you less likely to do it, because when you tell people something, it's almost as if you've already done it because you're telling them and you're seeing how they're reacting. So that reward is similar to the reward you would have gotten if you did it. And it makes people less likely to actually do the thing. Like when you
Really?
tell
I don't
people
think so. I don't think
that that's
so.
a thing, bro.
I mean,
You can look it
I
up.
can see it for other people, but for me, it keeps me accountable. It's like,
Really.
yeah, it's like if I told my friend I'm going to the library and well, I'm a chief procrastinator. So
Well,
if I'm not gonna go to the library,
I'm
then they think
mm.
like, oh, she's a flake, you know?
I meant more so for like I think more so because yeah for something like that what's like daily tasks sort of stuff I think does
Mm-hmm.
work, but I meant more so for like projects, like
Okay.
things like
Yeah, I
that.
could
Like
see
if you
that.
tell someone I'm gonna write a book, you'd be like, oh wow, that's so cool, blah blah blah. You're gonna have people,
Uh-huh.
and you're gonna felt like you already did
Did
it,
it.
and it
Okay.
makes you know what I mean. Because I definitely, and that's why even for me, I just don't tell people what I'm doing
Hmm.
with my like projects unless they're involved with it, because
Yeah.
then I gotta tell them. But yeah, I just don't really like. I like to wait until like if things are about to be done, then I might tell people, okay, like this thing is coming out, this thing, whatever, right?
So you like the secrecy of it.
Yeah, but I also do think it's true. It's just important just to not tell people things, just because like it can make I think it can make you like lazier about doing that particular thing. Like you're less likely to do it. It's a real thing, bro.
I
It's
mean, I
like
believe
people
it.
say that, yeah.
I just think it's like it happens with other people differently.
Yeah, I'm
Like it
sure
just
it's obviously
depends.
not the same for everyone, but it's
Hmm.
just something that I've heard is like, and like other creatives have seen them say that, and I definitely do think it's true. Plus, I do just like to be like low key about the stuff I make
Yeah.
until it's about to come out.
Yeah.
I don't really. I think I don't want to say it's corny, but I'll just say I don't. I wouldn't want to be the type of person who like and I say this because I used to be the type of person where like years ahead of whatever thing I'm working on comes out, I'm talking about like, yeah, I'm making this thing, and I'm talking about it for like years before it comes out.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to be that type of person. And I say this because I was that type of person actually before in high
Hmm.
school. Like I would start working on stuff, and as soon as I'm barely getting started, I would like tell everyone. And then it just like it was just
Dissipates. Kind of like
yeah.
the hype of it
And
all.
also like the things I made like or that I was working on just didn't happen.
Uh-huh.
Mostly because I was in high school and didn't have the resources, but still, it's like, oh well, now I just look like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of other people can take it as a way to follow along with the journey.
sure.
Um Obviously constant promotion. I don't know if I sent Tyler the Creator
You
showing
did, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, that's different. That's when something's
like
already out.
promoting it.
That's when something's out, though.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about like
For it.
before the thing's even made, done.
I like to hype myself up. Like keep my audience aware of what the projects I'm working on. Maybe not
Sure.
revealing everything, but
Just letting people know.
yeah, just letting people know I'm doing something, you
Yeah,
know.
I get that. I
So
can respect it.
that keeps me disciplined. That keeps me motivated also.
Hmm.
But I think discipline definitely comes within. It's a learned thing that you
Hmm.
touched upon.
It's like willpower,
It is willpower.
sheer willpower. So yeah, so now that we've kind of gone over like motivation, discipline, I don't know. I want to ask you, how do you like set goals for yourself?
How do I set goals for myself? Well,
Mhm.
I like writing down what I what the product is. Maybe like I want to be successful in this way. Like being objective. Like this is what I
Mhm.
think success is, and working backwards to say what are my steps to get there, and
Okay.
then just taking it piece by piece. When I'm goal setting, I also think of like what do I need right now? Like what in my life am I lacking?
Mm.
And then I kind of build upon that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's I find it interesting because that sort of premise is similar to how I create my stories. Like
Okay.
for like my comics and stuff. Like I usually come up with the ending
Mhm.
first. The I no, I don't usually I always come up with the ending first, and I think, okay, how can I get to the ending? Like what can I who do I need? As in like what characters do I need? What things do I need to happen to have this story that reaches this ending that I want?
Mhm.
So it's some pretty similar to how you come up with like your goals and you're like, okay, now how do I like what do I need to get to this goal? You work backwards or
Yeah.
whatever. Um but yeah.
Let's talk about how do we overcome roadblocks?
Okay.
Because I mean, with goal setting, there's always it's not a straight line
Oh
to
sure.
get there.
Yeah,
right?
there's always shit that happens.
Mhm.
Well, I think the first thing is you just have to accept like it's nothing's gonna be easy, right? Like you just have to accept before. I mean, just in life in general that things are always gonna happen. Things are
Mhm.
gonna go wrong. You're gonna
We're gonna have
be
detours, right?
yeah. So that's sort of the first premise. You can't really act too surprised when shit starts to go wrong. Um, and then I think I don't know. For me, once I sort of reached like a roadblock, I I just deal with it. I don't know. I
Mhm.
just try to get really creative in dealing with it. Just kind of getting rid of it. I mean, it's just kind of on a case per case basis. Like, what's the roadblock? Am I making a comic and all of a sudden the artist bails out? Well, I'll just find another artist. It sucks, but whatever. Or like, am I making music and I'm not liking the song anymore? Then I think, okay, let me dissect this song. Like, what's wrong with it? What do we need to change? Or maybe
Mhm.
we'll just scrap it all together. Sometimes I feel like you need to when you're working on stuff, especially like creative stuff. You sort of need to know when to quit.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree, and with that, am seeking I'm seeking reflection from the outside point of
Mhm.
view and a constant reflection about my what I'm working on,
Yeah.
as well, to really feel like, is it worth my time to put into this goal or not,
Yeah.
in the direction that it's going in currently.
Yeah. And I think this year is like sometimes also you'll find that your goals will change a bit when the
Sure.
direction changes. And there's nothing wrong with that, like changing your goals as long as it's what you want, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're
But you're working
satisfied.
just yeah, working towards something that you're proud of, really.
Yeah. That's ultimately that's what it's all about. You know? But yeah, but how about for you? How do you really deal with like roadblocks?
Roadblocks, I usually, um I seek guidance. I really
Mm,
do. Roadblocks I seek with people, uh, I look up to
really?
and just my peers. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like a validation type of person. Like
That's fair.
I love to
Yeah.
hear others people's opinions and kind of shape it after that. Although, because I typically I find myself really hard on myself. Um, Self-critiquing is something I need to work on because
Mhm.
I am susceptible to going down that negative spiral and really
Oh
not
yeah.
seeing
I get that.
what's in front of me for what it actually is. Yeah.
No, yeah, I totally get that because I tend to go down sort of like I sort of like attack myself.
Mhm.
Just when my thoughts like damn like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Um and I think that is sort of going back to the discipline thing, like for me, why I mostly just rely on discipline because I feel like a lot of my motivations are not good motivations because
Mhm.
there's obviously like bad and good motivations,
Mhm.
right? And when I mean like bad motivations, I just mean like it's very just like comes from like negative spots and usually negative towards myself or others. So instead of like focusing on that, I just focus on my discipline of like I'm just gonna do this because I know I need to, not for these other reasons.
Mhm.
But that's cool that you look to other people. I think I do that a fair amount too. I definitely look for opinions on like on things I'm working on. Um, but
And the criticisms from other people, they just bring a different light to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. It's also because like when you're working on something, it's like it's your baby, so it's a
Mhm.
little hard to like view it from a critical point when someone else are pretty like unbiased, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, and then people kind of doubt their support system. Like they doubt the how much it could help you for the roadblocks that you're experiencing.
mm.
If you're never reaching out, then you're missing on opportunities,
Yeah, that's definitely true. Something I've sort of had to grapple with is this idea of like because I think a lot of people, and I think it's really natural. Like we feel like when we like sometimes we'll want things, but we won't do anything for it
Mhm.
to happen. We'll just kind of hope. We'll just kind of sit back and hope. Well, I hope it comes to me
Mhm.
somehow, right? Like like a person reaching out or something like that. I think that's
Yeah.
a big one, right? It's because it's always hard to like reach out to them. You just hope they'll
Mhm.
reach out to you, and I think just something that people or I've had to. I'll say for me, like I've had to grapple with this. It's like if you want something you need to do something. If you do nothing, then nothing will happen. It's just
Yeah.
kind of it's pretty straightforward like that. But as humans, we always wish like, well, I'm gonna do nothing but hope something happens, right? Um, and I think this is something more people in general probably need to grapple with is this idea of like you need to be more proactive.
Proactive, right? Nobody is gonna come and save you.
Mhm.
That's what you have to maturely
Yeah.
like think about. Like if you want something done, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah, shit's got.
And I say it all to myself, like no one's gonna come save you.
Mhm.
You know, I got to do it, and I have to do it for me.
And you wouldn't even want someone to save you too, because then when someone saves you, now you're like
Kind of helpless.
in their favor, their debt or whatever.
Mhm.
You're reliant on them. You don't want to be reliant on others ever. You want to be like independent, like just reliant on yourself. Because once you find yourself relying on others, as soon as they do something or they disappear, then everything's back to the
Square one.
Yeah. To the square one. I was just like something really bad, but that's
Oh.
good. I was gonna make a very dramatic way of saying step one, but you got it.
Rock bottom.
No, worse. But yeah. Anywho, I honestly don't know if I have that much more to speak about, like motivation stuff. Like, do you have anything you want to say, or?
I did want to say something about a vision board. Do you have anything like that?
A vision
Yeah.
board. I mean, well, like for like my stores and stuff, I do definitely and I have a notebook where I wrote out the whole story. Like, this is how it's gonna go. Pretty much, it's like a timeline of like, this is all I'm gonna do, and I need to make this. So that's sort of like an outline. So I would say that's sort of like a vision board for my comics and stuff.
But it's more towards like what you see as your success. And
I mean, I've definitely envisioned it. I've never made like a physical visual board, I'd say, but I definitely envisioned like what do I want to have and where do I want to be in like 50 years or when I'm like 50.
So you have that written down?
Not written down.
I think we should do that. We should try to do that. Yeah.
I feel like it'd be very narcissistic.
No, it's not.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying mine will.
Yours? No, that's fine. I think no. Everybody has their own vision board.
I will say for sure, I want to retire in like Alaska.
Okay. Yeah, so just go ahead and do that.
With like an army of huskies.
An army of huskies.
After I've like made all of my movies.
And
I've sent all my children off to college and they're all doing their thing. I'm gonna go up with the missus in like some fucking middle of nowhere woods in Alaska with a big ass fucking lodge mansion and like 12 huskies. And every day I'm gonna like
go to town with them.
No. And like I'm gonna like wake up at like 6 a.m. like crack of dawn.
Yeah.
Or whatever dawn is. I know it's time's a little weird in Alaska. And I'm gonna like wake up like. And I'm gonna go out there in like negative 40 degrees with just shirtless with my army of huskies. Be like, it's time to hunt. Like just something like that. Just go out there with my whole little army and I'll probably go fish. I'm not really a hunting guy, but I like to fish. I'll go fish with them though. And then I'll just be running around playing the river, scaring all the fish away that I'm trying to get.
I love it.
As I'm like freezing my nuts off the Alaskan weather.
I like it. How it's like a whole story.
Yeah. I thought about it a lot. I told
my vision board is just like something from Pinterest.
You're like, dude, I'm just trying to, dude. I just want a house.
Yeah,
like, I just want a house and like, all right, that's your issue. You're like, dude, I'm just trying to like have money.
Yeah, but I highly recommend writing down your goals, making even a little scrapbook, little vision board.
Yeah, that's
kind of cut things
helpful.
out. Yeah, and I know you're kind of you're not big on telling people, but I was.
You sure?
A little bit, yeah. Still, I'm more on
There's
the
nothing wrong
DL.
with that. There's nothing wrong with
that.
that.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it, but just sharing, verbalizing it, and let's talk a little bit about manifestation. What are your thoughts on that? I feel like because Gaby is like low key against like that type of spirituality realm, but I'm on that side.
I think manifestation is just another way of saying I'm setting goals.
Okay.
And I think it's a little silly when people, and I feel like it's almost discrediting too, when people say, oh, they did this or I did this because I manifested it. You know what I mean? So I feel like you're almost discrediting. Like, no, you didn't. It's not like the universe let it happen because you've
thought about it
you
or
said
said
it over
it.
and over. It's like, no, you did it because you did it, because
Well,
you succeeded.
true.
And I feel like, people say, oh, they manifest, like when someone does something successful that they've been wanting to do for a while, and they say it a lot. And I see people say this, like they'll say, oh, they manifested it. It's like, no, they worked hard and they got it. They didn't manifest shit. They worked hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, to a point. However, there's something called the self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's where
sure.
you're talking about it. And I think that there is a physiological thing where you're like you're speaking it into your actions.
Well, like I said, I think
into
I think it's all
existence.
just another word of like your discipline. Like you're
Okay.
just someone who's working hard on
Tying
something
it back.
that you want.
Okay.
You're someone who wants something and you worked hard for it. I think that's just another way of kind of like saying that.
Mhm.
But I think, like I said, when people say, I feel like it discredits and sort of takes away, you know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, you know, I already said.
I think it's
don't
just
know.
the perception of like
Maybe it's just because like all the astrology girls say manifest, or not astrology, all astrology people say manifesting.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like hater. 'Cause I hate astrology, but I'm just a hater. I'm a bitch ass hater. What can I say?
We all have to hate somebody. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, but I do a lot of it. I think I do more than I should, but it's okay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I manifest my own hate.
Well, there's just like a lot of talk about delusional thinking, and
well, that's just a whole.
It's just mindset. I really think it's mindset. It contributes to a learned behavior of discipline.
Well, what do you mean delusional thinking?
Delusional thinking of saying like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna be very wealthy, successful. You know,
Well,
I
yeah,
have a
that's
high
just
position. That I think that's like planning in advance. You know how we were talking about starting at the end and then, you know, working your way backwards.
I mean, yeah, I think you are a bit delusional if you're just like, I don't know how. I'm not gonna do anything, but I'm gonna be rich and famous one day. It's like, well, I gotta do something.
You have to.
You gotta do
I think
something.
that's part of like goal creation.
Well, if they're like
Goal creation, I mean, of course, you gotta have action behind it.
Well, that's why I said like I'm not gonna do anything. That's why I included that part. I feel like a lot of people just sort of going back to the manifesting thing. Like they just say the things they want, but they're not actually actively doing anything at all. They're just wishing, manifesting, hoping, praying, however you want to say it, without actually doing something. Like, and back to what I said even earlier, like, you know, a lot of people want something from doing nothing, you know, but it's like, well, if you want something, you got to do something, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you're born into a rich ass fucking family, you know, you're not gonna, you're gonna have to actually work for the things you want. But yeah, so all in all, the manifestation, dumb. That's my conclusion.
Okay.
Or not dumb, but it's just the same thing branded a different way, and I think branded worse.
I think also manifestation could be seen as like a type of prayer too.
Well, sure.
Man, like it just really depends on how you interpret that word.
And I interpret it as dumb.
Okay.
Just kidding.
I'm
just kidding. I'm not that much of a hater.
You just perceive it a different way, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close this off with a quote.
Sure.
Okay. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what? Guess what they have planned for you? Not much.
Yeah, you never want to be someone's pawn or whatever. That's basically what that's saying, I think. You want people as your pawns. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't do that either. Hannah's like,
Nah,
yeah, thanks for watching. A bit of a shorter episode, but I feel like it's more concise though. I feel like we're just sort of snappier with it.
Yeah, not as rambly. Off brand.
Is this an evolution or a step back? Who knows?
Who knows? All right, guys. Thanks for rambling with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye. In the stream.